Lexi is the Senior Community Health Coordinator here in the Gorge. She is also on the board of the Columbia Gorge Food Bank and Four Rivers Early Learning Hub. And Lexi, if you could kick it off with your transit story.
Oh, sure. I grew up in Portland and went to a high school that did not have a parking lot nor school buses. And so, and with a mother who grew up in England, similar to the emergency manager in Australia, she was like, you can figure it out, and handed me a TriMet map. And so I got down to her office downtown every day so she'd give me a ride home via a complex web of Portland City buses and then light rail. And that's what I did for 4 years. And so it really enlightened me that transit exists and that I can use it to get myself around. So, hi all, my name's Lexi Stickel. I use she, her pronouns. As Kathy said, I work with Pacific Source. For those of you who don't know, that's the organization that handles Medicaid or manages Medicaid lives for Hood River and Wasco counties. And we love slides, and now I feel terrible that I sent slides, because now you have to stare at them behind all of us.
Slides are beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. If you go to the next one, this is actually the main one I wanted to share. Now I feel bad because both Buck and Liz are in the way of it, but not a ton. Not a ton. So sorry. Just because I wanted to share the map so badly. But so in March of this year, we have 18,500 people. I did some quick math. That is 37% of the population in Hood River and Wasco counties are on Medicaid coverage. And this is where they live in Hood River and Wasco counties. The heat map is horrible. I've asked our analytics team not to make it blue because we have a river, and their answer was, do you know how much work that would be? And I said, okay, I understand. So the dark blue is where the most of the populations live. You can see it follows the bend in the river of the Dalles. There's a chunk in Hood River, and then moving up, there's that next darker chunk in Odell. And then I promise there's a pretty decent one. It just happens to be in Cascade Locks, which is very close to the river, so you can't see it. And then there's a smattering of other ones in South Wasco County. Do not confuse them with the lakes and reservoirs that are also in South Wasco County. In fact, I think one of them is not a heat map dot. It's Pine Hollow maybe, I'm not sure. Anyway, so this is where the lives live. 54% of them are kids 18 and younger. We have about 19 of them identify as Hispanic or Latinx and speak Spanish as their primary language. 12% report having a disability of any kind. We have about 1.5% identify as American Indian or Alaskan Native. So those are who they are. And Medicaid covers transportation to medical appointments. So when Kathy asked me to talk on this panel, and she was like, well, don't talk about that. I was like, great, okay. Think about the other things. And so while Medicaid does provide transportation to appointments, does not provide transportation to anything that we in our sector call social determinants of health. And so that's food, housing, childcare, your job, and all the other things that folks need to live a fulfilling life. And so then I asked folks on my team and then with Columbia Gorge Health Council, our great partners, what are some stories you have from our members? And then I went to bed last night and I woke up this morning and they sent me 10 stories overnight. So I'm gonna read them to you eventually. But I did get one story from our internal team about a member who received the Gorge Transit Pass for free. I have 10 more of those stories, so bear with me while I go through them really quickly. Pacific Source was able also to help fund the equity fund for the Gorge Pass, and so then getting to see that come back and benefit our members in these amazing ways is so great. So I also want to thank Kathy for asking me to be on this panel because I wouldn't have asked for these stories otherwise and got to hear this beautiful impacts. One member received the transit pass for free and regularly uses it to access their local food pantry and then also the grocery store. So this is the only way that this member accesses food is with the Gorge Transit Pass. Their biggest issue was having enough space for food on the bus. So it's, 2 bags at a time for the most part that they're able to carry on the bus. And then I think there might be a next slide.
Oh.
No. Okay, great, perfect. I will say another member mentioned, or one of our support staff mentioned, talking to a member who had no idea that their public transportation existed in the Gorge. They needed to get to an attorney's office, and so our wonderful team of customer service staff were helping them do that. And they're like, well, what about the bus? We can probably help you get a bus pass. And they're like, there's no bus in the Gorge. And then the customer service person was like, I can Google this. And at the end of that call, got them hooked up with a Gorge pass as well, or connected to a person to get them that Gorge pass. And so just that amazing opportunity of maybe living in a rural place and not realizing that there is similar resources as a more urban place like Portland. And now, my lengthy list of stories. G uses the Gorge bus pass to get rides in town instead of riding their bike, which is their sole source of transportation. G said it's been very helpful since they're older, and it's nice to know they don't have to ride their bike all the time when they need to go places. J uses the bus to get in town if they're not able to get a ride from a friend or family member. They appreciate the pass, and they feel great knowing they can use it whenever they need to and not have to rely on a friend or family member for a ride. J benefits from the Gorge bus pass in so many ways, he said. J now has the opportunity to get a bus ride to the places he needs or wants to go, and he has also benefited by allowing him to rest and not walk so much around town. A has benefited from the Gorge bus pass in so many ways they can't even describe. They aren't having to walk very far to get to places they need or want to go. They have a sense of ownership and freedom over their movement. Has also benefited by being able to get to all their appointments on time for the first time. We also have a client who doesn't have a car and is using the pass for their parenting classes that are taking place during different hours than their normal transportation can give them a ride. They're also able to visit their children who are currently in DHS custody by using the bus pass. And lastly, a member living in South Wasco County is able to get tickets to come to the Dalles via Dial-A-Ride, and then uses their Gorge pass to travel all around the Dalles to do all of their needed things, and then they use Dial-A-Ride to get back to South Wasco County. So that's what I have. Thank you all.